Gayle King asked Lisa Leslie a fucked up question. Makes it worse. Makes that worse. Snoop calls her a funky doghead bitch. Oprah gets on TV, cries for her friend. Susan Rice, in essence, threatens Snoop with her friends. We've seen this story. It wasn't about Kobe, but we've seen this story. Black folks disagree publicly. Black folks go at each other publicly. White folks sit back and laugh. At some point, we need to figure out a way, despite social media, to conduct ourselves in a manner that where we can express our displeasure while not looking like we're at war in the process. Because that doesn't benefit any of us. It doesn't. Doesn't benefit our children. It doesn't benefit our elders. It doesn't benefit our ancestors. And it doesn't benefit those adults in the community. At what point do we discuss solutions? Black folks can have a whole ass conversation without saying shit. We got a million handshakes. We got a million gestures. We can make our feelings known quickly without a word. Yet, we feel compelled, we feel the need, we feel required to shit on each other when we disagree publicly. So here's an idea. Let's say we canceled Gayle King. Okay? Not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not on Instagram, but literally canceled her. And I don't mean like physically canceled her, but canceled her socially. No longer is Gayle King allowed to get her hair done in one of our shops. No longer is Gayle King allowed to eat at a restaurant owned by one of us. Ubers? No. If you are driving a bus and Gayle King wants to get on that bus, close the door. We don't have to say anything to cancel somebody. But best believe, if we canceled someone of Gayle King's status, that would send a message to those in her position, higher, lower, laterally, that socially, as a black person, we can cancel you. We do not need to bash you. Don't need to call you bitches. Don't need to call you hoes. Don't need to put up ugly ass memes comparing you to dogs, horses, oxes, moose, chickens, or whatever the fuck else. You are no longer allowed the privilege of socializing with black folks. Period. Let's talk solutions. Because I hear people all the time talk about being on code. First off, what is the fucking code? When I've asked people this over the years, I never get an answer because apparently I was supposed to be born with this knowledge because I'm black. Please, and not in a disrespectful way, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. If you know me, you know that's not my thing. But we need to actually be able to say what the code is. And do me a favor, while we're working on what the code is and putting that down so that we can all follow that, stay away from a couple of things. Just my 2 cents. Stay away from who someone loves. You can never change a person's heart. Stay away from who they pray to. Again, you can never change a person's heart. And go from there. You will never change a person's heart. You will never change a person's soul. That person must do the changing. Bashing them, generally, it strengthens their resolve. Generally, it makes them more committed to whatever they believe in or whomever they love. If you are an adult, you know that that is a fact, that I'm telling the truth. You've been through it yourself. There's always somebody our parents don't want us to date, and for whatever reason, we feel more compelled to date that motherfucker. It is what it is. Some things you will not change despite the evidence, despite the truth that you may possess, despite the most eloquent delivery. So let's start from there. Stay away from those two things. Okay? Give us a simple code. Something, and I know I'll get a lot of backlash from a lot of educated folks who with well intentions, from a lot of woke folks, well intentioned, that love our people. I'm not being dismissive. What I'm saying is victories are required. We need some dubs. We need some wins. And I don't mean personally, one person gets this award or one person accomplishes this thing. I mean collectively, we need a victory. To do so, we need to narrow the scope a little bit. Some people would say dumb it down, call it what you want. You have to realize where we are in society currently. You have to be able to gauge the temperature of your community. You have to be able to understand that reading your people is just, if not more important, than reading a book. And it's not just black folks in this country. Everything in this country has been broken down to 140 characters or less, if you want people to actually understand it. The reason they make contracts 20, 100, 200 pages long is because they don't want you to understand it. If you want people to buy into something, you have to simplify it. That's not the way it should be, but that's the way it is. So do me a favor. Help me explicitly put down what our code should be. And again, do me another favor. Do that without religion and without who someone loves. We have to be able, people don't want, they want to be hardline. Sometimes you can make a concession that does not delineate from who you are as a person. It just means that this conversation, black folks collectively are not ready to have. When you got some dubs up under your belt as a community, the communication, the conversations get more extensive. They get deeper. They get bigger. Without us trying to, threaten each other or throw people under the bus or whatever the case may be publicly. How can we prevent this from happening going forward? What happens to Gayle and Oprah if black folks completely ignore them? They'll still be rich. But make no mistake, even though the majority of their audience is not black folks, that stamp of blackness is what has them in the positions that they currently hold. From day one, if it's popular with black folks, it's popular. We define that. We can take it back. And we don't have to say a word. Because what you're doing is you're it's like we're trading numbers. For them, it's all about the numbers. So for, like the more we go at them publicly, the more you have other folks replacing us because now, they going after them, so they must be my type of black folk. Don't say a word. Nothing. Stop giving them energy. Stop allowing them in our communities. No, we do not want you to show up and speak. No, we do not want your money. Keep it. You earned it. I understand the complaints. I complain myself, but I try not to complain about black folks publicly. That sends a message to those coming behind us in our community, and it sends a message that we will never be united to those whose goal is for us to never be united.